Hillary Clinton claims that the future is dark and dystopian if Donald Trump is elected president again. But I wonder if that's something that she really dreads or something that the Democrats are actually looking forward to. Also, another big news, Jim Jordan is running for Speaker of the House of Representatives. I personally think this is a great move for the Republicans and for the House of Representatives. There's only one or two candidates I think would be better suited for the job. So I hope and pray that the Republicans get the votes they need to get Jim elected because I think he would be a great Speaker of the House. We're going to talk about all of that and more in this episode. I'm your host, Hyde. This is Hide and Seek Media. Hello, all you beautiful and amazing people. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the show. If you're new to the channel, here at Hide and Seek Media, what I'm trying to do is bring you a blue collar, common sense perspective on politics, news, sports, culture, and entertainment, and so much more. So today, there's a few stories I want to talk about. Jim Jordan announcing he is running for Speaker of the House was big news today. I really hope that he gets elected. I think he'd be great for the position, and we're going to talk about that later on in the episode. But first, Hillary Clinton back in the news again, talking about guess who? No one other than Donald Trump. That's right, because that's the only way this woman can stay relevant, is constantly reminding everybody that Donald Trump smacked that ass in 2016. So I got this story pulled up here from timcast.com. Hillary Clinton says Donald Trump regaining the presidency would be dark and dystopian. Former Secretary of State says no matter how hard other GOP candidates try to distinguish themselves, Trump will be the eventual nominee. They go on to say Clinton, who is now a professor and presidential fellow in global affairs at Columbia University, expressed her dismal sentiment toward a reboot of a Trump White House during an interview on PBS's NewsHour, contrasting her view of the Trump administration vis-a-vis the Biden administration. She goes on to say, quote, the accomplishments of the Biden-Harris administration are popping, and they are laying the groundwork for a richer, more secure country and more people having an opportunity to go as far as their hard work and talent will take them, Clinton said. Now, I want to pause right here just for a second because I wonder if this isn't one of those confession by projection moments, right? Viva Fry says this all the time, and I love this quote. Um, but basically, what we're talking about here is that the Democrats will confess to what they're doing by telling you the Republicans are doing it. And they're confessing about how the world will be when they're in control, but they're blaming it on the Republicans, right? So that's what she's doing here, in my opinion, right? The accomplishment of the Biden Harris administration. Well, let's talk about those accomplishments for a minute. What are we talking about? Record inflation, record illegal border crossings, basically an open border, record crime rates in all major Democrat-run cities. Are these the accomplishments you're talking about? I think they are. Because this is what's leading to your dark and dystopian future, not Donald Trump. You show me where it was dark and dystopian during Donald Trump's presidency outside of the 2020 BLM riots, which is a whole nother mess that we can get into in another video. But outside of that, things look pretty good under the Trump presidency, in my eyes. But I didn't watch CNN, MSNBC every night. I barely watched Fox News during Trump's presidency because I get my media and news from more reliable sources like Tim Pool and timcast.com or the Daily Wire or the Post Millennial, Jack Posobiec and Andy No, right? these are the people that I get my news from because they're the ones on the ground doing the reporting, doing the hard work, and aren't afraid to tell the truth, whether you like it or not. And that's what I'm looking for in the media. So she goes on to say, and I'm for them on the merits, but I'm also for them because the alternative is so dark and dystopian. To undermine the rule of law, to destroy our institutions, to pull us out of NATO, do Putin's bidding, to be unwilling to stand up for real American values, to put one person above the country, none of that is American. So I think that Biden Harris deserves to be reelected. I think we have to reelect them given what the alternative is. Okay, let's break that down for a second here. To undermine the rule of law, Donald Trump was the president for the police. So I don't know whether he undermined the rule of law. And that's, and even if he did, right, let's just for the sake of argument say he did. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black here, right? How many did we all forget about the Whitewater scandal when Hillary Clinton was first lady and Bill Clinton was president, or Monica Lewinsky, or the fact that Bill was on the Lolita Express like 30 times? Hmm. Do we forget about all this? Like, what about the Clinton Foundation and how many millions and millions of dollars that they've supposedly donated to Haiti, but yet Haiti's never seen that money? Like, like, what are we talking about here? To destroy our institutions. Well, I'd like to know what institutions Donald Trump destroyed. I can't think of any except the fake media. I mean, he destroyed legacy media by calling them fake news and proving it. So, okay, I give you that one. Pulling us out of NATO, well, he's supposed to do that, right? This is how NATO works. We all agree to be one group of allies. The United States, being the superpower on the planet, will provide superior firepower and soldiers to protect your country. In return, you pay us. It's pretty simple. Donald Trump said, you're not paying your bill, then you don't get the protection. You pay a third of your bill, you get a third of the protection. This is what we're going to do. When Donald Trump threatened to pull soldiers out of Germany, Germany opened up the pocketbook. Said, hang on, let me write you a check. So it's not like they couldn't pay. They were choosing not to because the United States was letting them get away with it. Donald Trump wasn't. Said, nope, pay up. And I'm all for that. So if you don't want to pay for what we're providing, bye. Everyone says that the United States is a corporation. Well, if that's the case, then Donald Trump was treating it the right way. It goes on to say President Joe Biden has steadily led Trump in polling until recently. As of August, the duo, neither of whom roughly 2/3 of the country want to see run again, were tied in a hypothetical general election matchup. Now, I don't know where the daily or where Tim and them are polling these. It's probably referenced here. Yeah, Axios. So, yeah, I don't know if I can, trust Axios or Politico, but I'm glad that they referenced these polls so they could, where they were getting their information. A lot of these places don't. They'll just reference another news article from that same place. So good on you, Tim. I like this. The Guardian. Okay, I'm up and down on the Guardian, but it says here more recent polling shows Trump going to the lead spot, edging out Biden by 7 points in one poll and 10 points in another. Election forecasting site Race to the White House, arguably the most accurate forecaster in the nation. Okay, let's try that over. Election forecasting site Race to the White House, arguably the most accurate forecaster in the nation, having called correctly 97.1% of Senate races, 96.3% of House races, and 94.4% of governor races, now shows Trump leading Biden nationally. Until last month, the site had Biden ahead in its national forecast. Even factoring in the numerous reasonable favorable polls for Trump, an electoral college forecasting, a race to the White House shows if the election were held today, Biden would likely take 286 electoral votes while Trump would win 250. The candidate needs 270 to take the presidency. Clinton, who has been no stranger to trading barbs with former presidents since the 2016 election campaign, used the interview with PBS to attack Trump supporters. In response to a question about Trump's 40-point lead over his nearest rival in Republican primary polling, Clinton said, "It's psychological and emotional. A big part of the Republican base feels a connection to Trump. I still believe sitting here today, he will be their nominee no matter how hard others try to distinguish themselves. I think it's very sad commentary on what people are looking for in a leader because everything he allegedly stands for is at odds with so much of what has made this country work for a long time, overcome many of our shortcomings and obstacles." And that's wrong. She's completely wrong on that. What he stands for is what made us great to begin with. And over the last 20 or 30 years, we've been diminishing because we've been listening to people like your husband and George Bush and Barack Obama. Donald Trump came in and said, wait a minute, let's go back to the Reagan days. You remember those? Let's go back to the JFK days. You remember those? Let's go back to the Roosevelt days. You remember those? Like, let's get this country back to where it was the shining beacon of the world, not the toilet. So I don't really, let's see, there's a little bit more here. It goes on to say, as it seems almost impossible to break through that 40% that is willed to him as the next president. She further added, Joe Biden has delivered for you. But it's the emotional, psychological, cultural connection to someone who really has unfortunately manipulated social media and also some so-called mainstream media in a way that people believe what he says to them. Um, Manipulated social media? Are you kidding me? The guy had to create his own social media platform just to be able to be on social media. How did he manipulate it? Stupid. Last bit here says, and that's hard to break. It's like being in a cult almost. See, there we go. Confession by projection again. So I know the Republicans running against him are trying very hard. I don't think they are going to be successful given where they are. So then I think it's imperative on the country to once again defeat Trump and elect Biden. Like, this is, why? I don't understand it. I understand her bitterness, right? I understand Hillary Clinton's bitterness towards Donald Trump. I mean, he wiped the floor with her in 2016. She was all but set to become president, and then Donald Trump entered the race, and that's when the real Hillary came out, and we've seen the real Hillary from now on. Like she ain't even trying to pretend to be that nice lady anymore. She's just a spiteful, vindictive, evil woman who can't get over the fact that Donald Trump beat her in 2016 and that her Russia collusion thing didn't work out, right? Like, it didn't get Donald Trump impeached. It didn't keep him from getting elected because it's not true. And the American people saw through all that, right? Just like we saw through Kevin McCarthy, and we're begging to get him ousted. And thank God for Matt Gaetz. I got this story here from the Daily Wire. Jim Jordan enters race for House Speaker. Jordan says now is the time for our Republican conference to come together to keep our promises to Americans. Amen, brother. Amen. I love this move. Jim Jordan going for Speaker of the House of Representatives is a great move by the Republican Party. It's a great move by the Freedom Caucus. It's a great move for this country in general because Jim Jordan is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee who's been leading these investigations into Biden, right? And so he's been doing a pretty good job at that. But I mean, he's being a little measured, a little more measured than I would have liked to see in some of these hearings. But I understand his approach is that you can't take too big a bite too early, right? Because then you get gassy and full, and you don't want to finish the meal. Or when you try to finish the meal, now you're all bloated and there's just too much gunk in there for you to actually enjoy it. And so I understand that, right? I understand eating the right portions in the right moments. So, but still, let's crank it up a notch, right? Let's like let the entire country know that they elected a criminal into office in 2020, a straight criminal. But let's get back to Jim Jordan. It goes on to say here, Rep. Jim Jordan from Ohio is running for Speaker of the GOP-led House of Representatives. A spokesman for the lawmaker confirmed Jordan's plans to the Daily Wire on Wednesday, less than a day after the chamber ousted Rep. Kevin McCarthy from California from the position. In a quote reported by the Washington Examiner, Jordan said after coming out of the Speaker's office, I've had a lot of people reach out to us asking me to do it because I think I can. We'll see if that happens, but I think I can. Multiple Republicans have already voiced support for Jordan as a candidate. My first choice, if he will run, Rep. Thomas Massie from Kentucky said in a post on X. Rep. Matt Gaetz from Florida, the congressman who led the effort to remove McCarthy as Speaker, also indicated he would back Jordan. My mentor, Jim Jordan, would be great, Gaetz said. Jordan is the chairman of House Judiciary Committee, a perch from which he has led investigations into the Biden administration this year. In a Wednesday letter to House colleagues, Jordan celebrated the successes during McCarthy's 9 months as Speaker and stressed his ability to unite the conference. Now is the time for our Republican conference to come together to keep our promises to Americans, Jordan wrote. We can focus on the changes that improve the country and unite us in offering real solutions. But no matter what we do, we must do it together as a conference. I respectfully ask for your support for Speaker of the House of Representatives, he concluded. In an interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity on Tuesday night, Jordan was asked about rumors that former President Donald Trump had been contacted about becoming an interim speaker. Jordan said Trump would be great, but emphasized that he wants Trump to be the next president. Trump is running a 2024 campaign for his second term in the White House. The House voted 216 to 210 to remove McCarthy as Speaker, a role he held since January. 8 Republicans joined the Democrats to vote against McCarthy, citing frustrations with his leadership. Matt Gaetz, Andy Biggs from Arizona, Ken Buck from Colorado, Eli Crane from Arizona, Bob Good from Virginia, Matt Rosendale from Montana, Tim Burcham from Tennessee, and Nancy Mace from South Carolina. Rep. Patrick McHenry from North Carolina became temporary Speaker as lawmakers hash out who will run the gavel. Multiple reports have said House Majority Leader Steve Scalise from Louisiana is lobbying for support for a bid. A simple majority is needed to secure victory. Like every other candidate, big hurdles for Jordan to get to 218. But Scalise seems to have a bold name challenger, Punchbowl News co-founder Jake Sherman said in a post to X. So basically, Jim Jordan is going to run up against Steve Scalise, it looks like, as the two reps who are going to try to become Speaker of the House. I think Jordan would be a better pick than Scalise because Scalise is too moderate. Jordan is more law oriented. So he's going to follow the rules, follow the law, and let the chips fall where they may. But he's going to do the investigations the right way. And I think that's what we really need the speaker to be paying attention to, is that these single subject spending bills, and really paying attention to not doing any more of these continuing resolutions or omnibus bills. But I want to know what you guys think about Jim Jordan becoming House Speaker, and what do you think about Hillary's comments about Trump being president and leading to a dark and dystopian future? Let me know in the comment section down below. I really really enjoy engaging with my viewers. So feel free to fire away. Also, if you like this video, smash that like button, share this video on all social media platforms. Those interactions are going to help YouTube's algorithm pick up my video and give it more impressions. That's how I get more viewers here. That's how we grow this channel. And that's how you guys help. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to head on over to my locals community and become a member over there as well, because not only will you get all the video and content you get here on YouTube and Rumble, but you will also get exclusive content that I make only for locals. So head on over there and become a member as well. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell here as well on YouTube. Thank you again for everything you guys are doing, and I will catch you later. Peace.